everyone, this is the Good Vibe Show with me, Vivek Atray, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Sarban Singh IAS Retd.
Thank you, Mr. Vivek. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Very nice to have you. And in fact, sir, you are such a cheerful person with good vibes that you are the most appropriate person for this show.
That is so sweet of you, as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And sir, we are here to discuss your book, which has been launched, of course, and we have displayed it, The Dream Journey of Mr. Sarban Singh, and which is a journey, sir, which actually applies to almost everybody. So everybody dreams, everybody wants to go somewhere. You dreamt and you executed. So, sir, how is the feeling after launching your book, first of all?
It's a great feeling, Vivek, as once you have a dream and then you make efforts, then you realize it, and God is so kind that I have been able to realize my dream. It is truly a dream journey for me. It dates back to the days when I was in my college, and that's how my dream had taken place at that time, and finally it was realized in 1983.
Yes, sir. So let's go back to that 1983 and even before that. The humble beginnings, the early years, the struggle. Let's talk about that, sir.
Oh, great. Vivek, I'm from a small village in district Jalandhar, and I had my primary education in my village school, government primary school, Nagra. I went to a nearby school to do my matriculation, and my graduation, my post-graduation I did from DAV College Jalandhar. And it was there in DAV College Jalandhar that I once went to a cultural evening program in the open air theatre of my college, and that's how actually the dream in my case took place. And we were just in the evening, we were sitting in the open air theatre in the audience, and we saw our principal, Mr. D.S. Bal, who was receiving the chief guest, Mr. Ram Gopal, who was the deputy commissioner. And that's how I was, pleasantly surprised that my principal, who was a god for me, he's receiving a gentleman, and who could be that gentleman? And later on, we came to know that he's from the IAS and he's an IAS officer.
So you got that inspiration to try and become like an IAS, like him, and then you actually got into the Indian Economic Service, sir,
Yes.
first. So how was that experience? And you even went to Missouri for training there.
It just started that when I was in my MA final exam, and I appeared for my exams, and in my MA final I also took my banking sector exams, and I got through, and I joined the banking sector. But that dream which I had seen at that time in 71 in my pre-university class, that was still, I was chasing that. And despite the fact that I got into the Indian Economic Service in my first attempt in 1979, I went to Missouri Academy. I had my foundation course with my IAS colleagues, and there I learned not many things, and I talked to many of my friends who later became my colleagues in Haryana. And but till the time I was not able to reach that dream being realized, I was not satisfied with the earlier services. So I continued my efforts, and it was in August 1983 that I finally joined IAS at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Missouri.
So the thing is that so many millions of people try. What, according to you, was that X factor, or is that X factor which enables a particular individual to join the civil service?
Well, it is not a single factor, I would put it like that. There are 3-4 factors in our life, actually, as in every other field. First of all is the hard work. Without that, you can't move further. And then your efforts, personal efforts, friend circle, your parents, your teachers, your colleagues, of course, an element of luck.
All these things matter.
These 4-5 factors put together. Because I can see, if I go back, I can see that many of my colleagues, many of my classmates who were brighter than me in my college, in my school, they also tried, but they were not able to crack it to that level, though they got into the allied services, but somehow they missed the IAS by a few marks. So there, I think, I feel your luck, your destiny matters a lot. The blessings from your seniors, parents, that play a pivotal role in this.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well said. Well said.
Yes.
A lot of youngsters watch this show, the Good Vibe Show, sir, and many of them are UPSC aspirants. They dream of going to Labasna at Mussoorie, the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. I don't think they think much beyond it at the moment. But how was your experience at Mussoorie at that time, sir?
Oh, it was a wonderful feeling to be there, second time and meeting and being in the IAS, which was the dream I had taken long back, and feeling that I was there with that service with me, and having gotten the service, I was feeling that now I have reached the best I could aspire for on the career front in my life.
And then, sir, the first, let's say, first 1 week of your service, do you remember those days? Do you remember how it was, how it felt, being an IAS officer and carrying yourself with dignity?
Yes, it happened that it is just again a coincidence. Actually, there are not many coincidences in my life, and this is another coincidence that when I reached Palwal, that was the first station of my first posting at SDM Palwal. That was on 13th of August 1985. That I reported there at my station of posting, first posting, and on 14th of August I joined. That was the first day in the office on 14th of August 1985. And as we all know, the next day, that is the Independence Day, 15th August 1985. So that was my second day of my joining my first posting, and it was a wonderful feeling that I was there on such an auspicious occasion when the entire country was enjoying the celebrations on the occasion of Independence Day, and we had our minister from Haryana, Mr. Shakrullah Khan, who was the chief guest on the occasion, and we were fully, prepared to celebrate the occasion. It was very, very grand occasion for me, especially for me, because during my school days, during my college days, I used to see these celebrations at the DAV College Jalandhar, Bolton Park venue near DAV College Jalandhar. We used to have celebrations there. First as a student of my school, then at the college, and it was a wonderful feeling for me to be the organizer for that occasion, which I used to see as a student, and I really enjoyed that feeling which I was having while sitting with the chief guest on the dais.
I'm sure, sir, it was wonderful. Do you remember that Mr. Sarban Singh, who was the SDM? How was he and how are you now, sir? I mean, it's a question with little intangible, but do you affiliate, do you recognize yourself in that youngster even today?
Yeah, I feel I am still the same Sarban Singh who was there as SDM. I don't find that I have changed much, but of course, with the experience, one always learn more, and I have learned lot many things during my career. I have met my colleagues, my senior colleagues, my mentors who were very kind to me, who guided me, who gave me lessons how to do better, where I was lacking, where I should fill the gaps. So all those filling the gaps came on later. But our Sarban Singh is the same. If I am to join today SDM back, so I will be the same Sarban Singh as I was in August 1985.
And so you look young and fit, so I'm sure even that part will be taken care of.
I will try that. I will try that. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, the highlight of an IAS officer's career is the district. That is known, that is accepted, that we all recognize. It could be that there are many other highlights. How was your experience as a deputy commissioner? How did it begin and how did it go?
Actually, it was my fourth wedding anniversary on 26, 1990. And we were, preparing for the family celebrations when around that time on 23rd of November 1990, I got my appointment posting letter for Rewari. I was to report at Rewari and take over from my batchmate, Mr. Parveen Kumar, who was the All India topper of IAS.
Yes.
So I reached there on 26th of November 1990, and on 27th of November 90, I took over from him, and I took it as my wedding anniversary gift, because that 26th of November 1990 was the fourth wedding anniversary. So I was in that festive feeling, in that spirit and that mood, that I took over as deputy commissioner from my batchmate, Mr. Parveen Kumar. It was a great feeling, like I joined IAS only having that dream of being in that chair, of being a deputy commissioner. So that dream was being realized, and it was a wonderful feeling. And during that tenure, I was able to whatever I could contribute in various duties I was assigned to. And during that period, I met a wonderful, great senior who taught me many things in the service. And one of them was accompanying him to a meeting in Delhi. That was December 90, immediately after my joining in Rewari. I accompanied I'm talking of Mr. B.S. Oja,
Right.
who was at that time Mr. Financial Commissioner Revenue. So I accompanied him, and he was a towering personality, as you all know, and I had wonderful feeling and wonderful experience accompanying him to that meeting. And then the central team, it was the meeting was on the subject of computerization of land records, and it was in December. And then in February 91, the central team came to have a review meeting with us, and it was in his office that the central team was concerned that deputy commissioner should be given a stable tenure. And at that juncture, because the central team was very curious and serious that the project, the computerization of land record, that was a pilot project in Haryana, in the country rather, on computerization of land record, it should not suffer because of the frequent transfers of the deputy commissioner. So at that juncture, Mr. B.S. Oja told that gentleman who was heading the central team that he will outlast me. What he meant was that he may or may not remain FCR, but he will continue as a deputy commissioner. And that prophecy came true in June 91 when he became the chief secretary, and he of course changed his seat from FCR to chief secretary, and I continued as a deputy commissioner Rewari. So that's how his prophecy came true at that juncture. I just can't, till date, I can't forget that his prophecy, he will outlast me, came true. And I continued there, and the next day when of course it was change of government, and when the newspaper carried the stories of transfers of the deputy commissioners, and I was the one of those lucky ones, I was the only one rather, who was not transferred even after the change of government, and I was the only one who was posted by the previous government. And we all know, when the new government comes into power, the large-scale transfers go to the state headquarters in the field, and this post, deputy commissioner's post, being very crucial one, the deputy commissioner is obviously the target to be changed. But I was the only one, and who was not shifted. Of course, there was my another colleague, Mr. Sudeep Dillon, SS Dillon, who was at GEAN. He was also not shifted, but in his case, the case was slightly different because he was posted during the president rule in April 91, whereas I was the one who was posted in the previous government, and I continued in that. And it was a big news item in the next day's daily that only the deputy commissioner Rewari and deputy commissioner GEAN survived the major district level shake-up in Haryana. So that was a big news. I have talked about this episode in my book also, because this book is nothing but a collection of all these kind of episodes and anecdotes.
So this book is so inspiring because of two or three things. I have been associated with you.
Thank you.
It's come out very well.
So sweet.
One of the things is your meticulous memory, the eye for detail, the diary that you wrote, but even so you remember personalities, dates, sometimes you remember where you had dinner, what you did, and then that meeting, etc. So that very sharp memory which you have has obviously helped you. And also you remained, let's put it this way, non-controversial. So that also obviously. So do you think your personality helped you in your career, the way you are?
Oh, well, it depends, because personality is what others feel about you, It is not our own creation. We learn from others, that turn into our personality.
Yes.
So maybe I got the fortune of having good parents, then good friends, good circle of colleagues, then my seniors who were so kind to me. They always gave me that environment, conducive environment, that I was looking like this. That's how it.
Both ways, sir. The sun is shining on everybody. but our receptivity also matters. So, sir, let's talk about more inspiring personalities. You already spoke about Mr. Oja, who had a major influence on you. Any other personalities you'd like to talk about? You've also mentioned in your book.
You know, I have worked with so many great personalities, great souls, and whatever I am actually, I am only because of them. I have worked with Mr. Sarban Singh, Mr. B.S. Oja, Mr. M.C. Gupta, Mr. S.Y. Qureshi, Mr. Desi, and Mr. P.K. Gupta, and lately with so many political seniors, political masters, political leaders. So I was getting a lot of affection and lot of love from all of them, and that I always try to give best to them, because when they are showering their love on you, so in return, what only you can give is your sincerity to them. So like I work with the personalities like Mr. A.N. Mathur, Mr. Sunil Ahuja, Madam Urfi Gulati, Madam Meenakshi Nand Chaudhary, then all these, seniors, they showered so much confidence, they reposed so much confidence in me that I was bound to give them my best. In one of the meetings, when Madam Urfi Gulati was reviewing the performance in the court cases, because at FC I was financial commissioner. So one of the duties of the financial commissioner is to hold the courts, to decide the revenue cases. So Madam was so kind to me that in the meeting, while reviewing the progress of the court cases disposal, she pointed out to me, Sarban, tell me the secret of your fast disposal of court cases. So how are you able to do it so timely? So my reply to her was that, ma'am, I only do my job sincerely and religiously. So then, and in the process, you are recognized, you are appreciated, and you are, noticed. So in return, maybe suddenly you get something even without expecting it.
That's absolutely right. When you give good, then it comes back. The universe helps to make you a happy person.
Very right.
Sir, the batchmates. Let's talk about batchmates. I mean, in your book launch, they were all there, many of them, and they spoke about you, that warmth, that camaraderie, which continues throughout your career and beyond. So let's talk about your batchmates. Some of
we initially were a batch of 7, like Keshni and
in the state of Haryana.
Preeti in Haryana. Keshni was there, Preeti was there, then Praveen Kumar, then Yudhveer, then Fulia, then Rajan, and myself. So all 7 of us joined in June 1984 at HIPAA in 22 sector. It was at that time located. So we were 7 of us, and we had very cordial relations. And incidentally, it was a good fortune for us that in Haryana we had 2 toppers, all India toppers. One was Mr. Praveen Kumar, he was the all India topper, and then then Keshni Anandaroda, she was all India second topper, and amongst girls she was the all India topper. So this kind of bright, colleagues, one is fortunate to have. And of course, Yudhveer was there, who was already in the IPS. He shifted to IAS. Then Rajan Gupta was there from Punjab only. He was there. Rajguru Fulia, he was my colleague from Haryana itself. He was in the home state. I was from Punjab. Then Preeti was there, and we had wonderful time during our training. And Preeti then later left for Andhra Pradesh after her marriage to our batchmate Randeep Sudan, and Praveen also left after a couple of years to teach in the US. So we later left, 5 of us, and we retired as our date of birth required us, permitted us. Yes.
And then how is the post-retirement phase been, sir?
Well, post-retirement phase has been equally wonderful for me, and it so happened that I was to superannuate in December 2014, and in June 2014, on 4th of June 2014, state government invited applications for the post of 1 chief commissioner and 4 commissioners. I was already working in the post of in the rank of chief secretary, and the post advertised was also in the rank of chief secretary. So I took a chance. I applied since I was eligible. So I took premature retirement by 5 months, and in July I joined as a commissioner, and by the time I completed my 5-year tenure in July 2019, I was chief commissioner. It so happened that the chief commissioner, incumbent chief commissioner, he retired in April 2019, and there were 3-4 months for me to complete my 5 years, and the government had the prerogative of giving that charge to anybody, not anybody, any of the commissioners. So we were commissioners in the commission, and I was of course the senior most amongst the commissioners.
Yes.
And but government was kind to give me that charge of chief commissioner in addition to my duties, and I retired as chief commissioner. So this is how I feel. That good things come back to you if you are doing your best and you are being noticed, and you get something I was not expecting at all. It was rather a surprise to me that I was being given this charge, because I was not expecting, because I never knew that I would be picked up by the government. But government was kind, and it was on 16th of April 2019 that orders were issued, and 17th of April 2019 was the holiday. So I joined on 18th of April 2019 as chief commissioner, and I was in the seat of chief commissioner till my last day in the government job. That was 27th of July 2019.
So you are so perfect with dates.
This is my hobby.
These are relatively recent, but even so many dates you remember.
This is my hobby actually.
वो सर लाइटर साइड पे मैम से पूछना पड़ेगा कि डेट्स मतलब यही वाली याद रहती हैं, दूसरी डेट्स मैम के साथ you must have been. How has been the journey with ma'am and family, sir?
Actually, I was SDM Palwal. So one day my friend called me from Ludhiana. He was my senior in the Indian Economic Service. We were together at Ludhiana. He was in a different department, I was in a different department, but the station was the same. So after having joined IAS, we kept in touch, but he didn't know about this part of my life. So he called me from there, Ludhiana. I was having my breakfast at SDM Diligence, and incidentally, B.S. Sandhu, IPS, he was undergoing training there. Later on, he rose to the level of DGP Haryana. Yes. So we were both having our breakfast. It was sometime in April 1986 that I got a call, and he said, "Would you like to proceed in this case?" I said yes. So I met my wife, who was to be my wife. That was on 31st of July 1986, and later on it matured on 26th of November 1986. So that's how it happened, and that was
when you say proceed in this case.
Yeah,
it reminds me of General VP Malik, who came on this show.
Yeah,
and Mrs. Malik also, and he also said something similar.
Yes.
So I said, sir, this sounds very sarkari.
It's the reason, because there are so many cases in our life. So this also becomes one of the cases, though it's a different chapter altogether.
Absolutely.
But it is a wonderful case and chapter both.
So talk about children and grandchildren.
Okay, thank you. So I have got 2 children. My son, he's 87 born. He joined Haryana Civil Service in his first attempt, and that was in 2013. And I have my second child is my daughter, and she's in the Indian Economic Service. She joined the Indian Economics in her first attempt, and our daughter-in-law, who became part of us, she's a PPS officer, presently posted as DSP in Punjab. So they got married on 11th of December 2019, and God was kind to us to bless us with a new love of life on 7th of March 2022. And incidentally, on the 3rd anniversary of his parents having met, that day, his parents, my grandson's parents met on 7th of March 2019, and he was born exactly after 3 years on 7th of March 2022. So that is again a coincidence. So my life is full of coincidence. God is very kind. When I look back, I think God has been kind to me, and He has given me much more than what I deserve. Thank you, God.
Yes, absolutely. Sir, one slightly serious question about the IAS. So, do you think the IAS is evolving in the right direction? There has always been political interference. There has always been some tensions. But the IAS has delivered overall. What is the overall view, sir?
There are always 2 sides of a coin, and we all play in our own way. So no 2 persons are alike. So I would say that IAS has been able to do a great service to the country, Of course, there are many areas where there is a lot of improvements that are required. But still, if I go back to my own journey, like in '85, I joined as SGM, and if the journey I have covered over the last 30, 40 years, and I have seen the thing changing, and I have given in my book also at one place that we have seen, the Haryana going from a traditional society to the stage of high mass consumption. So those 5 stages, if I can apply to my service, like I remember when Mr. Satish Khanna in our college, he taught us the stages of development, and he taught us the 5 stages of growth, and he talked of the growth story given by one economist, Mr. W. Rostow. I have mentioned in my book. So I have seen all those 5 stages, those transformations taking place. So if I go to Palwal today, it is not that Palwal which I joined in 1985. Yeah. If I go to Rewari today, it is not that Rewari which I joined in 1990. And if I go to the field, it is not that field which I used to visit as Deputy Commissioner Rewari, or as Director Agriculture, or as Secretary of Labour Department, or Additional Chief Secretary of Public Health Engineering Department. So those are the improvements, those are changes that have taken place. And recently, the commission in which I worked towards the later year of my service, that was the Right to Service Commission, of which we just talked. So that is another instrument of good governance. So these are the good governance tools. In that, the main mandate of that commission is to have the time-bound delivery of services. So I still remember, this is the latest edition, and in 2005 I was still in the service when Right to Information Act was enacted, and all the states had to have Right to Information Commission in place. And prior to that, I still remember when I was in Rewari, when I was ADC, there was a concept introduced, and where it was called Mukdwar Prashashan Camp. I have mentioned in this. Yes. And one day we traveled. The concept was to have a cluster of 15-20 villages together at one place, and the entire district administration will go to a field and hear their grievances. And I have mentioned in this book that they will feel that the government machinery belong to them, and they are part of the government machinery. So these are the changes that have taken place over the years. Otherwise, the common man may not know who the deputy commissioner is, how they work. So when we would sit amongst them in the village and have meal with them, they will cook for us. We'll all together along the villages, we'll have our meals, and we will travel by Haryana Roadways bus in the morning. All of us, all district heads, and take our baggage, our record, our other things in the bus, and our, of course, supporting staff will accompany us. And in the evening, after doing day's work, we'll come back to the same in the same Haryana Roadways bus. So that was not to tell the people that we are delivering. Yes, we are delivering, but also to tell them that we, the district administration, the officers, the machinery, belong to them. So these are the innovations that have taken place over during the last 30-40 years, and a lot many things are now improving, now being made online, delivery of services being made online. So these are the changes taking place. And yes, many may say that they are, of course, even our own personal life, we don't do all the things which we expect or which we anticipate. In our personal life also, there are many lapses. There are many sides where we want to fill those sides, and still we are not able to.
Perfection is not possible.
Perfection is not just not possible, it is never so. Perfection is only the name of God, and He has kept that perfection word with Him only.
You're absolutely right, sir. You are also a singer. एक दो लाइन हमें एंड में सुना दीजिए सर.
अरे क्या,
any song that you like. And I know your nickname is Dharmendra ji, so that is another brilliant facet of your personality.
That is again
yes, sir.
My friend's good wishes. But I will hear, since I have a song which is in Punjabi, and this is Gurdas Man's song. Why I am emotionally attached to this song is that was a song which I sang on the concluding day of our foundation course at the academy. That was 3rd of December 1983. That was the conclusion of our foundation course, and every probation was asked to present a cultural item. So that song I sang, and that was the song. And then I repeated that song again on 14th of January 2011 when we were having our concluding day at the academy, at the same academy.
Okay.
That was the concluding day of our phase 5. And incidentally, I organized on 1st of November 1992 a Gurdas Man night at Rewadi when I was deputy commissioner there, and I requested Gurdas Man to sing that song because that is my favorite.
Wow.
But I will just sing 2-3 lines from that just to revive my old association with that song. सजना वे सजना तेरे शहर वाली सानू किन्नी सोहनी लगदी दोपहर किन्नी चंगी लगदी दोपहर फिर भी पता नहीं कातों मोजे आई जावे भावें साडे सड़ गए ने पैर भावें साडे पुज गए ने पैर सजना वे सजना हाय सजना मां ने भी रोकिया बापू ने भी रोकिया ना जाई मित्रां दे शहर ना जाई सजना दे शहर पर साडी भुख सगों दूनी चौनी होई जावे हौल पैंदे रहण चतो पैर हौल पैंदे रहण चतो पैर सजना वे सजना हाय सजना तेरे शहर विच असीं मंगत्यां बरोबर भावें गुड़ पा दे भावें जै भावें गुड़ पा दे भावें जै तेरे दर उतों भुख नैना दी मिटावनी ओए एहो साडे फकरां दी खैर एहो साडे सजना दी खैर सजना वे सजना तेरे शहर कादी आई मित्रा वे मेरिया तेरे शहर कादी आई मित्रा वे मेरिया पुजे सब शिकवे ते वैर पुले सब शिकवे ते वैर चित करे कके कके रेतियां नू चुम लमा लब कितों सजना दी पैर लब कितों सजना दी पैर थैंक यू वेरी मच
क्या बात है सर जैसे आपने एक गाना खुल के और प्यार मोहब्बत से सुनाया इसी तरह आपने अपना करियर जिंदगी
so sweet I have enjoyed
let us pause with your book sir.
I have enjoyed every day every moment of my service and my life
pause towards the end this
Thank
is a
you.
great book
Thank
of
you.
Mr. Sarban Singh the dream journey इसको पढ़िएगा
So
and
sweet.
whatever he has said today you will experience through the book
thank you very much thank you very much thank you Mr. Vivek Atray
thank you sir
very kind of you
thank
So
you
sweet.
thank you for